a ZENSHU reaction. Mappa baited us with this anime. A lot of drama happening with this anime? Not really, because no one even cares about this anime, to be honest.
My interests. Jacking off. Favorite pastime.
Ooh.
Jacking off. What do I like to eat?
Jacking off.
Jacking off. This season of anime has been good. Nothing crazy. There's actually quite a lot of stuff to watch. There's mewing leveling, Sakamoto days. How are they gonna have intercourse? Karane Best Girl. My favorite show this season.
Wonder if Jinshi has to stop drinking his eunuch potion in order for them to actually, you know, do the deed.
Bestiality. And my favorite. Taking hard drugs. There's one show that...
momentarily mentioned. Yeah, this season of anime is pretty packed, man. There might be nothing completely mind-blowing, right? I think the height of winter 2025 is probably Solo Leveling, 100 Girlfriends, Sakamoto Days, but I don't think these are like generational changing anime, right? Doesn't need to be, but it's a pretty solid season.
Actually surprised me with the amount of creative visual ideas and overall consistency. Although the opinions can be split for the show, at least it's still enjoyable.
Woo!
ZENSHU is the new Mappa original anime that's actually an isekai.
By the way, Senshi, this video and your video, they're both gonna get demonetized. A copyright holder will come after you. Like all the ZENSHU reactions on YouTube, any ZENSHU content, they get all demonetized. Now, at least they don't get blocked, right? If they want to take the ad revenue, go for it. But like, it's probably gonna come for us too.
People have been very opinionated about the whole animation production stuff, but then Natsuko just... To summarize it, Hirose Natsuko was an animator, did the usual route of doing animation direction work, storyboarding, then became an episode director, and then become a director of a Maho Shoujo Kunoichi type show. I
Yeah, it kind of looked like Sailor Moon, but Kunoichi.
don't know. After that, she was a director for a film, but then she was the first person that got killed by a gay clown. Then she got isekai, blah blah blah. You know the story.
Pretty much.
Listen, I do still enjoy ZENSHU. I am a trashy isekai retard watcher.
Woo!
But if
Spirit Chronicles mentioned!
it was about the production side of anime, then
Yeah.
it would be better probably. Then again,
I think that if this was more like Shirobako, like actually handling anime production stuff, it probably would have performed better and it would have been like responded better with the audience. Because here's still my final take about ZENSHU. It is a stunning anime. The production value is so good. It's almost like a, what's it called? A love letter for production value, right? It seems like each episode is dedicated towards like a specific iconic moment, like the Itano Circus, right? Like he even like, you know, basically was in charge of that episode where we did the Itano Circus. But here's the thing, no matter how good the production value is, if you don't know how to reach and compel the audience that's intended for that genre, you're gonna fuck up. And what do I mean by that? Isekai is a degenerate, you know, genre where a lot of people are expecting, again, a lot of those Spirit Chronicles, a lot of those like, you know, other trashy isekai moments where you get an OP power, you got a harem, you know, you got a power fantasy, maybe just like a revenge plot of people looking down on you and coming back. All those things, you know, are the isekai audience. And when you have an anime like this, it doesn't hit that audience. I think that the female lead also is hurting this show because the male audience that wants to watch isekai like this don't really care about a female protag. They want to self-insert themselves as fucking Haruto from Spirit Chronicles. They want to self-insert themselves as maybe even Rudius from Mushoku Tensei, you know, and get all the bitches, right? Stuff like that. And then a lot of people are like, well, actually, I prefer watching the Otome game villainous isekais and its female if main character does perfectly fine. Well, guess what, retard? Think for a bit more and you'll realize that Otome game villainous isekais are completely different audience from the degenerate isekai watchers. That's a josei audience. Josei audience, villainous animes are a subset of that overall degenerate isekai. Therefore, the female lead makes sense in that anime. That's why villainous Oji-san right now is actually doing well, which is also interesting because it's like a bald 52-year-old man, you know, role-playing as a fucking villainous. But my point still stands that even if you have great production value, if you can't hit that target audience with what they're expecting, you're going to fucking flop.
The story is a bit repetitive. It's just slice of life shit. Then a monster shows up.
It's very repetitive. A lot of people don't care about the characters nor the story. The story is not compelling enough. The production value again is good, but again, the overall themes of the show and like the characters, the plot, a lot of people just don't fuck with it.
Then Natsuko does her henshin. By the way, this is a magical transformation. They usually use the same scene every time. Fight happen, cool animation, GG. Love the idea that the
yeah, that's pretty much it, right? We haven't seen the most recent episode for episode 4 because we're going to drop the anime. It's underperforming, and we also get hit with copyright every time. It's just a failure project. Not to say that the anime is bad, but it's just not in my best interest, and no one's expecting it, so it's going to be dropped. Every episode does seem like, hey, villains are attacking. Uh-oh, no one believed Hirose. Hirose does artwork. Solved. Repeat. And the first 2 episodes are flashy, but again, the story just seems to be too repetitive and can't capture the audience.
monster that
Who's claiming the vid? It's a copyright holder known as Vobile. Vobile is... Let me show you. I'll pull it up right now. So when people go out and, you know, copyright strike or copyright claim, again, those two things are very different. It really depends on what is happening. So here is the boom. And this is the analytics tab. As you can see, every ZENSHU, except the trailer, right? Every ZENSHU anime episode opening, they're all getting copyright claimed. And even if it's copyright claimed, at least they did not impact the visibility, as in it's public. Great. I don't really care. If you want to take like a couple dollars that this video is going to make, go ahead. I don't care. As long as the video is public and people can see it and find my channel, that's all I care about. But what you want to be careful of is, boom. Look at that. Copyright owners, Vobile. If you search up Vobile, you'll realize that they are a third-party copyright. It's like there's like these companies that go claiming and striking on behalf of the existing copyright holders. Because if you actually just upload an episode of ZENSHU straight up onto YouTube, you'll see that the copyright holders are not Vobile. It's gonna be like, I forget exactly what it was. Was it Kadokawa? I'm not too sure. But there are companies like Vobile and Molbeat also, third-party companies that act on behalf of the original copyright holders, and that's what's happening. That's why a lot of people are also dropping this anime with the combined aspect of it just doesn't perform. No one really cares about it, and we're getting fucked. So it's like, why would we keep pumping out content when nobody is watching and they're demonetizing it? It's just the worst of both worlds.
that Natsuko draw is uncolored with some really nice animation techniques. That's the gist of it for these 3 episodes that already aired. Of course, there's the whole Memerun thing.
Yeah, she is pretty sus. There's something, you know, brewing there with Memerun being suspicious. It might be a misdirection, but yeah, maybe the plot's gonna get deeper with her.
She's a bit sussy. I have a guess that she's the director that died from food
What?
poisoning. She's also the director for Tales of Perishing. Before talking
She's the director that died from but did we not see? I mean, there was like a reference made in the bar, Tavern Girl, right? That was exactly like her, but that'd be crazy if she's also here somehow.
about the production value for the show, there's a pretty relevant topic about why this show is not really popping off, or
Okay.
there's not a lot of discourse about it after episode
Baldy!
1. If you look at the preview episode vids on ZENSHU, they don't really get views. If
Yep.
you compare that to Soul Leveling, I know
Yep.
that's a fair comparison. There's a couple of assumptions I could make up on why this show is not popular.
Let's hear it.
It's an original anime.
True. Original anime, no existing fandom to boost it up like Solo Leveling. Very valid.
There's no established fan base for the trailer and such. 2. Good hentai material. Sorry. A good story and characters.
There it is, right? The stories and the characters are not compelling the intended audience.
I feel the story is still building up, but there's nothing crazy about it right now.
Yeah.
And the characters are good. Don't get me wrong. I like their dynamic. The funny moments are funny.
Yeah, I mean, Yunio is honestly hilarious. I fucking hate the little unicorn, but the way that he's lecherous and constantly tells girls to ride his back, it's low-key funny. I like their beef.
But it's definitely not a standout character for this season alone, like a Jinwoo or a Mao Mao. Another big factor is also probably people got catfished thinking this was an anime about animation production, but
Yep.
it's just an isekai. That's probably one of the biggest factors. That's
Yep.
why after episode 1, no one really watched it.
And I think that definitely plays into it. But the people that would stop watching it just because it's an isekai, I think are a subset of the audience that is not absolute. As in, like, okay, they don't care about it because it's not production value. Fair, they're gone. But what about that other audience that actually wanted the isekai? You know what I mean? Because this isn't the big picture. There's also the existing audience that are excited that it is an isekai. And then they watched it, and then it was very underwhelming to them.
Of course, animation / the adaptation plays a part of it.
Wait. Bald!
Is a part of it. You think if Frieren had a mediocre adaptation, it would be this popular? No. Again, I think these two are very important for an original or an adaptation of a not well-known manga or light novel. If you only deliver good story, but the characters aren't memorable, then in the long run, that's not gonna be relevant. Maki Ine had a good adaptation, memorable cast, and a good story. Popular.
True.
Same goes for Bocchi the Rock.
Yeah.
Same goes for
Licorice Recoil, exactly!
Licorice Recoil.
Ain't no way you call that Licorice Recoil.
Licorice Recoil.
Go back.
Good story. Popular. Same goes for Bocchi the Rock.
Yeah.
Same goes for Licorice Recoil.
Ain't no way it's Licorice Recoil. It's gotta be Licorice Recoil, right? Am I crazy?
You can also say that to Gushing Over Magical Girls.
Gushing Over Magical Girls is genuinely great. It's a good story, honestly. Now, obviously, the ecchi elements of this is hard carrying because sex sells. But I don't think it really takes away from Gushing Over Magical Girls, right? If it was just genuine, because like here's another thing, right? Look at Bihineko, right? There's so many ecchi animes that, you know, just uses fan service, expecting the audience to just watch it, but they don't really do that well. Gushing does the fan service and it's genuinely good story in anime, so it does well.
I guess, although the animation wavered a lot, or even for Elusive Samurai, the Japanese was
Yeah, the Shota cons go crazy.
fucking drooling for the Shota. That's borderline a lolly. Usually an isekai / fantasy has like shock values or I don't know, controversy like slavery.
Yeah.
Slavery in the opening. Wait, where?
Really? Oh, good one. Good one.
Oh. Yeah. This anime is from the Takahiro Ogawa line in MAPPA. They've previously produced shows like Bochigiri, Campfire Cooking in Another World, Dance.
I love Campfire Cooking in Another World.
Sure. And some more. The overall visual consistency is great for an isekai show. There's really some very impressive parts in this project that even some good-looking shows can't replicate. Director Mitsue Yamazaki
What is this profile picture, man? What's he doing? Oh, sorry, what's she doing? Just peeking out from the corner. It's so sinister. What the hell?
really made a distinct art style for ZENSHU after directing quite a bit of shows in Doga Kobo.
Arrow Manga Sensei-san.
You can see that more in Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle, where he was also the director for the show. The style is quite similar. The only difference is that this one is Dogo Kobo and this one is MAPPA, the core team. Same goes for Sumie Nori, the assistant director for ZENSHU. He worked under Yamazaki as the assistant director for Sleepy Princess and also worked on Dogo Kobo for quite a bit, even directing the show. The core staff for these two shows are different, but the overall style is very similar thanks to the vision of the director. I don't know if I compare this to the shitty isekais, that's not really fair, but overall the philosophy for the show is making everything look good, no stiffness. The art direction and comp are great. Then we get to the climactic moments. They ramp up the animation, having some very talented animators to work on these specific
really good looking
at the end. You know those low production isekais or fantasy, they have a lot of stiffness, like characters looking just weird.
Oh, classic Newgate. Classic. Look how squished Shin's face is here, bro. I can't believe I still remember his goddamn name, bro. Again, like Newgate, can I, what if I Google Newgate right now? Newgate's anime shitty meme. Let's see. There? I'm trying to see if I can like just like find a face where one of the elf girls, right? Her face literally was not matching. Like her eyes and nose was literally like it's not even smearing either. It's just so genuinely fucking bad, bro. Newgate fail. How about this? Hot garbage. Can't really find it here right now, guys. But if you want to see a ridiculous, shitty, funny anime, you should watch Newgate. I think that Newgate had its moments though. It did. There's the one episode where he's dealing with his old friend who is close to dying, and he requests one last duel. That specific episode actually was really good, if not great, but everything else just dookie.
There will be a dialogue scene going. By the way,
Male
I know
or
we're talking to
isekai.
each other. Why is your face like that? Oh, my neck is stiff. Oh,
This was very wonky. He does look very odd here, man. The awkward angle, like what is this?
stiff. Oh, really? No, I don't know why I'm drawn like this. The designs are nice. They lean in more on the cutesy slash chibi-like design. I'm saying chibi more on their heights, not chibi because these people are from a movie, not reality.
They're just
the
tiny.
colors are very vibrant. I think the color design and overall comp is very impressive.
Yes.
Mixing these vibrant color palettes
Dynamic, right? The colors just pop out, and it feels like they're in harmony. Nothing too saturated and overly done. It just looks great.
on the characters that meshes well with the different settings, either darker or in a more depressing tone. Of course, the backgrounds are good. The less realistic style that the art direction has for this world is different compared to the show that was shown in episode 1. It's more realistic because the show came out pretty recently, while Tales of Perishing came out when Natsuko was only a kid. There's a lot of shots that showcase this new world that we just transported to. The comp itself is the best aspect, probably, for this show.
Okay.
Kenya Fujita has only been the director of photography for another show, being Cheese Kill in Another World. Although that show was
Guilty pleasure. Guilty pleasure. I heard that this is gonna get a remake or a season 2. I don't know exactly what's happening, but there was that one video we watched, right? This is like gonna get a remake or a season 2. Either or. This anime is, man, it's an enjoyable anime to watch. The fight scenes when he is in the other world, I do not care, right? Fighting random monsters, who gives a fuck? But everything that happens on Earth, the glaze, the ridiculousness of how everyone's so down bad for this character, it's actually peak. It's peak entertainment.
mid. Animation was lackluster. I mean, what the fuck is he running like this? The action was not actioning, but overall, that show's compositing was really good. He had
Yeah.
other works like photography for Bochigiri and assistant director of photography for Maboroshi. I mean, that movie was by Mappa, but it's by the Okodamari team, so of course it'll look visually stunning. For ZENSHU, again, amazing. The VFX for mostly these magic spells and these black holes that appeared after killing the monsters
Look
doesn't
great.
feel off. It perfectly matched the style, complementing to the overall aesthetic that this show has. Even for the Maho Shoujo transformation, the colorful backgrounds
It's
with
stunning.
very bright color palettes that really has this scene stand out, with also added ring lighting to Natsuko and the object.
Ring lighting. Extra like border. Like the borders here, right? The white, the blue. Rim lighting. Rim lighting. Rimming.
To Natsuko and the object. Object.
Object. Rim job. 1 second. And 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
You know what? I'm not gonna make that joke. Yes, the animation itself is great.
Okay.
These stacks of papers like morphing, it looks crazy. But if you don't add these post-processing layers like this in the Genga, you can see how appealing it is after that. My favorite part is definitely the mixing between these characters that's portrayed like they are Genga, or the freedom of just going with different art styles. The texture work is amazing. They use these scribbly textures that's repeatedly moving. It's a placeholder texture where you see sometimes in anime where characters wear like camo stuff, where it's just annoying to
Okay.
animate those
Ass
textures
class.
every time the characters move. So they just have a layered texture behind it sometimes. It can be a bit jarring, but for this one, it does mix really well. It sometimes overlaps the line work. The line work too, they use these brush that
I never even realized that back in ass class. It was just constant texture there.
a bit jarring, but for this one, it does mix really well. It sometimes overlaps the line work. The line work too, they use these brush that has small holes. I forgot what it's called. I
What?
haven't
What?
drawn in a while. And the glitchy effect, adding the notes that is usually present in the production material.
Yeah, like the draft, like little notes, little comments.
You see this C, then number. That
Mhm.
means like cut 310 in the episode.
Damn.
I don't know if it actually correlates in the episode, but if it is, that's cool. The animation
That'd be really cool, right? Even in like this scene, they were talking about how it took like 3 days to do this one scene or something.
cool. The animation itself is insane, and there's references from these sequences. Keisuke Toyoda did the Henshin bank scene
Okay.
for Natsuko. The
Bank
Itano
art?
Circus part was storyboarded by the legend himself,
Itano himself?
Ichiro Itano. His last scene storyboarding gig was on Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin, which was
8.33, that's a really high score. It's just almost like a decade ago, right?
10 years ago. The animation itself was done by Tomohiro Kawahara. Fun fact, in the anime, Natsuko said it took her 3 days to animate that, but in reality, Kawahara tweeted that it actually took a month.
They should have said a month then. What the hell? It's not 3 days a month. That's just for one, bro. For one scene, one cut, it took that long.
Make Semi-Automatic did the Halucha ass wrestling scene. Amazing fluid movements with Kanada flares and impact frames. Those went crazy.
I love impact
think
frames.
This is a reference to Tiger Mask or something. The CG2 is done by JC Staff. I'm guessing Mappa's own CG team is busy with Dorohedoro Season 2, which is a full CG show. I think it looks great. The models, texturing work itself
Let's go JC Staff Glaze. CG team as JC Staff peak.
is pretty seamless. It feels very similar to the 2D counterparts. Even for this Isano Circus, it moves very smoothly and it doesn't look like 3D. Same goes for this Big Mama. I think the mouth is the only 2D part, but everything else is 3D here. I didn't talk
It looks so good that it just blends in, right? It's not jarring at all, like failure frame.
about the overall direction. It's good. I think it hits every moment. The comedic aspect hits. It doesn't feel awkward. And overall, it's fantastic. Oh yeah, the drawing quality sometimes. The drawings just ramp up so much. I don't know who does these drawings or who corrected it. But damn, man. She looks so good.
That's
Now,
great.
there's a lot of controversy, quotation marks, not really, but people shove this show off because it's a Mappa produced show. We saw the history of what Mappa did. I think people was really aware
Just a sweatshop, right? They overwork their workers, they don't pay well, it's just peak black company behavior.
about the JJK Season 2 incident, the real Shibuya incident. Some of you might say this is an industry problem. Yes and no. Mappa and Cloverworks are the worst examples.
It's like an industry problem, but they are at like the like if there's like a spectrum of how much, you know, shitty the work-life balance is, these dudes are at like the top, right?
When it comes to the scheduling and overworking their staff. For ZENSHU, it's still the same. I've stated in a video that people are assuming that the production of ZENSHU is already wrapped up because some of the main staff took a vacation quite recently.
Okay.
A show finish before the air date doesn't mean anything. They probably still rush the final product. The studios that actually do this is Ufotable and KyoAni and maybe some more. KyoAni usually finish their work 6 months or even a year before
Damn.
airing.
Good
And even the
scheduling.
director Tashio Ishihara lied about a project he's still working on, but was actually already finished months ago. ZENSHU definitely
Okay.
rushed their production. Mappa has always abused the second key animation or in-betweeners to make the process faster. The idea of second key animation, it should be for veterans or big talent to do more stuff because second key animation are people that draw the Genga of the key animator
This is the Ginga, right?
that didn't have time to draw it, or it was still rough. Even in episode 3 in ZENSHU, the animation director credits was already inflating a lot, even for a non-action
A lot of Korean names. Shinuna, Park Sejong, Soeunji, Studio Tokoro. Yeah, it's not a good thing when you have so many different, you know, people on board. It means that schedule's fucking terrible and everyone's just everyone's just trying to do their best not to drown.
episode. Let's take an example. Soul Leveling Season 2 Episode 3 has 35 second key animators. I
Okay.
could be off by a bit, but this was not that action heavy of an episode. But for ZENSHU Episode 3, which had a minute worth of action, had 51 second key animators for
crazy.
a non-action
Almost double?
episode. That's crazy. The normal count is probably 20 to 30. For heavy action episodes, probably more. That's just the common practice in Mappa now. Here's a healthier example. Hibike Euphonium Season 3. let's take the last episode, since last episodes usually don't have the best schedule or condition.
God, that just looks so good. Even though nothing really is really happening, right? They're just playing instruments. The subtleness of the movements is just so good.
Since last episodes usually don't have the best schedule or condition. I'm scrolling, scrolling,
Scrolling.
still scrolling.
Keep going.
None. There is no second key animation.
Damn.
Because Kill Annie, give ample time to the staff. Yes.
So basically, good companies that care about their workers and has reasonable scheduling so that everything can be made done with quality without sacrificing, people. They don't have these in-betweeners, the second animation, right? But there is a very convenient way where you can abuse this so that you can just run it down mid, just crazy schedules, just impossible deadlines, just abuse these second animators, the in-betweeners.
There are examples like Ranma 1/2. I think a couple weeks before the first season aired, there was a leak that the second season of Ranma was almost finished production.
Ooh,
yes, before
really?
season 1 hasn't aired yet. I actually really want this show to get more attention. Hopefully the build-up and when the climactic moments hits, it pays off.
Maybe.
ZENSHU is visually very consistent since it is a MAPPA show. They enforce slavery in the company. I could talk a bit more about the show, but your mom. If you guys like this video,
please like the video.
If you hate it,
leave a like. And that's pretty much it. A very unfortunate situation where a stunning anime with production value that's really, really great, right? Definitely competing for one of the best production value of this season is not getting the spotlight due to it being an isekai anime, due to it not reaching that isekai audience, the story, the characters, very flat, and it needs time to cook. Original series, lack of fandom. That means that you gotta start out with a bang. And they did, but then it got repetitive. And the story, again, it just doesn't hit that intended isekai audience. It's really sad that there's like animes like The Great Alchemist, or Mastering Magic, or Magic Maker, or Mail Order Isekai, or so many even Arifureta. There's so many other isekais that's very sloppy compared to this, right? You can't even compare the production. It'd be disrespectful to compare the quality of ZENSHU with the isekais I've just mentioned. Yet, the isekais that I've just mentioned performs better. Now again, when I say perform better, these are just YouTube reaction numbers, right? Who gives a fuck? But I think that there still is some sort of scaling coefficient of how much people have shown interest through, let's say, the viewership that's on my channel with other people's channels, right? And if you kind of compile that, ZENSHU is really underperforming. And it's sad that at the end of the day, sometimes just cheap, sloppy, junk food isekai hits that target audience better, and people want to keep watching that compared to this Michelin star course, meal that people just don't care about because they don't like the taste. They don't like it. Better looking than Sakamoto Days? I don't know. Is it? I feel like the peaks of ZENSHU is better than Sakamoto Days that we've seen. Am I wrong? It's overall Sakamoto Days might be better? I don't know. ZENSHU just has been so stunning to me and so like visually so impressive that I can't tell if Sakamoto Days is that significantly better or worse. I think that there is like I feel like it's splitting hairs at this point, right? Because like the difference, the gap between production value between Sakamoto Days and ZENSHU, it's not as noticeable compared to, let's say, ZENSHU and, Mastering Magic or any of the other isekais, right? Anyways, unfortunate what's happening. Hopefully this video and, my video won't get fucking demonetized again. But here's a link to ZENSHU's channel. Copy, paste, go give the video a like, sub to his channel if you haven't. I'll see you next time.